And we're live. Excuse me. Happy Tuesday. It's one day before everyone grabs their wiener. I've been waiting to say that for an hour. So we have my good buddy Dennis on from AIGOD here today. I think we'll probably have, we might have some news about the OIG stuff. Juan just got off that call. Bunch of sort of new things with the initial part of the Flip Tribes game got released over the weekend, and that confused a few people and made a few people very excited. So we'll chat about that. Oh, Chris is here. Fucking A. Kind of like that. We got Chris Tull here too on the audio. How's it going, Chris?
Good morning. Sorry I'm late. I slept in a little bit.
Yeah, you were late by like 45 seconds. I think we're all right. We'll be okay. Maybe. Juan, why don't we start with you? What any insights on the OIG call?
Well, nothing special at the moment. It's basically getting to know the candidates. There were 4 of the I don't know how many candidates are there. I think 6 candidates. 4 of them were there in the call, and the call will keeps on going, I think it will last at least 1 extra hour. But it's very interesting seeing all of their thoughts on what they can do for WAX and what are the vision they have and the things they would like to change. That's very interesting. Mm-hmm. It's also an interesting call because there you see a little bit. Most of the WAX guilds are present in that call. Mm-hmm. And it helps you a little bit evaluate which of the candidates has a realistic and feasible plan, and which of them are living in La La Land and think that they can really make some huge changes and things that happen, which doesn't mean they cannot be realized. Yeah. Because I think that most of them really have good ideas, good will, good thoughts, but they, in my opinion, they sometimes forget what are the limits of the.
Or they might not know
what
yet,
an
right?
IG should do. Sorry?
Or they might not know yet, right? I mean, that's
exactly. That's the point.
Right.
There's one thing, you think this is the job, and then you get to your first day and you say, fuck,
this is not the job.
Not the job. This is the job.
Well, I love the facts. We were talking off air about some of this stuff and what the limits might be and what the overarching goals like could be or whatever. And I think even just about this process where we're sort of facing that, like what are the limits of this position, and what can it be best served doing or whatever, right? At least we're in this position where during these elections we can kind of pose those questions, and new people that are applying for the job can kind of challenge it and see what might be added and stuff. It's a fun process.
Well, I think that's exactly what is wrong.
Oh, go on.
Because they cannot really challenge anything. WAX makes the decisions, and they say, this is what we need. This is the role. Basically, you're getting hired to do this.
Okay.
Do you want to do this? Yes or no?
Well, is it still a vote? Or
Part of what you do is proposing governance changes in the governance process and so on.
Yeah.
But that's it. It's not like you're going
to that can be massive.
WAX instead of I don't know, I'm making up the numbers. WAX team, instead of 1 million for WAX Lab, I want 10. Shut up. That's not your role. That's not what you're hired to do. No. I want to do this, blah, blah, blah. No, but you cannot do it because that's not part of what you are expected to do.
Does the OIG set incentives and points for the guilds?
No.
Do they have any say about that?
They define the protocol. How are they going to evaluate the guilds? What makes sense to evaluate the guild?
Right.
Yeah, that they do. But they don't set incentives. The incentives are set by WAX. And sometimes they can negotiate with WAX and come with ideas and do this, do that, improve conditions. Yes, but it's not like a magic wand. I'm going to do this. No, you don't have the full power to do it.
All right. So okay,
So,
clearly we're
yeah.
gonna have more. We're gonna have more of a discussion. We got Bad Gifter on Thursday, who's another candidate, so we can get into into more of this later. Obviously, it's it's an ongoing conversation. Anyways,
But you know what I think would be very interesting is if all those candidates said, you know what guys, really I really want to make this happen, and I see that the OIG is not the way to achieve it. Let's get together and organize something different. Let's get together and organize a group, and let's go and get entrepreneurs. Let's go and get VCs. Let's go and get people who really wants to grow the wax ecosystem and make that happen together. Because everybody here, I think that it's ironic because most of the wax users are Americans. Americans hate communism. Americans want a minimalist government that allows them to work. And when they come here, they expect wax to be the big dad wax and do everything for them. Come on, fuck you all, guys. You have to put in the work and make things happen yourself. Don't wait for the government to give you everything.
Juan's coming with the fucking bombs this morning. What's up? Dude, that's well, and seriously, like I haven't seen anyone who hangs out on this call. Like we usually have about 100 people by the end of the show or whatever that are like that. Obviously, we've all seen people that are like, oh, give me something free, in some of our Telegram channels or whatever, and that's whatever that's gonna happen. Yeah, but that was some
more
hardcore
of that
right
in
there.
the previous cycle. Oh, where's my free NFT? No, but that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, no, I mean we've talked about it a bunch of times. Like that's a race to the bottom, right? If you have something that's free, it's not going to be valuable. And honestly, like you look at the minting situation on Ethereum and some other places where it costs you money to even do the transaction. Sometimes a significant amount, right? Well, then the baseline for those projects, if they work, tends to be a lot higher. I mean, Chris, I know you have way more experience with some of that stuff than I do, but I think we in talking about how to set the Flip Tribe stuff up, it's a little complex, right? Like we got those hubs out there and they make the keys and you need the keys to get into the game. And, there's only 100 of those factories or those hubs out there. And those are really going to be the only way that the people can get into the game, obviously, right? We need, so there's some really interesting gating stuff, and Bullshit was a little bit worried about that. But I think people don't see the whole thing yet, which I think is this really kind of an interesting thing that we can chat about. But yeah, I mean, there's none of this stuff is going to be for free, and that was really, really intentional. We want it to be accessible to basically almost everybody that has any wax or any AIGOD, but we want to have that baseline level of value put into it. Anyway, so Dennis, how are you this morning?
Good. Except it's evening here, but still good.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. Things are looking good. We are at the moment a little bit in the consolidation phase, so to say. But I think that's also good and was overdue after we pushed so hard.
I agree. Yeah, my favorite reaction to the little sell the news dip that we're having on AIGOD was Chris's actually like, oh, cool, cheaper play credits. Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. So I do want to give a shout out to everybody that's been minting the NFTs from Flip Tribes. Again, I had to get some keys with AIGOD, and then get some credit packs to do the minting. We released the minting thing over the weekend, and so it basically lets you make your own kind of NFTs. And basically everybody who's tried it has messaged me privately. Not everybody, but a lot of them. Talking about how kind of fancy it is, and really just go to the AIGOD Telegram channel. You're going to see all the images that are coming out. And even now the sets, Maestro, and TC called this early and I forgot about it, but he told me about it. Maestro is actually releasing an entire subset of tomato ones and Maestro band ones that are, really, really amazing. And for some reason, it hadn't occurred to me that people were going to make sort of sub collections within the genre, just because you really can design them just with the words that you feed into the AI. So that's been really fun to see.
Yeah, it works perfectly for that, to be completely honest. I knew I was going to maybe make a few themed ones, but yeah, like, and we're still within the constraints of the AI gods and the fluffy puffs schemas, right? Like new schemas can come, and those schemas can be preloaded with sort of the attributes that you want for all the NFTs that come out within that schema, and then they stay together. But to be honest, this idea of building up your own collections within the schemas and using those for your community or for yourself is awesome. And of course, I had an internet issue, so I don't know if I heard in the last minute or so what you were saying, but like, when you do mint, the Flip Tribes account gets the last mint of every card. So when you actually start playing, you're going to be playing against all of these cards, right, that you and other people have minted. And so those collections are probably going to come into play a little accidentally too, right? Like if the AA winds up grabbing a hand of cards from your particular collection, then yeah, you get to see them all looking good together.
Like I've never really gotten into the collection side of NFTs, but obviously, like it's not an absent thing. Like we're so used to sort of playing, game kind of derived, game mechanic derived things on Wax. But I'm really wondering if down the road there isn't sort of a sort of developed market for, like, if you could get every single one of the tomato freaking Flip Tribes NFTs, like, wouldn't you want to do that?
Well, really, and the thing is, again, like anyone could set up little things to emphasize their collection, right? So it could be get all the tomato NFTs, or it could be get all of the tomato NFTs that I made, right? Or it can just be make tomato NFTs for a day and submit them to me, right? There's a few different ways you can do that. And that is the difference, I think, between this and most previous collections for games and stuff, is that this is technically infinite. Right, because we use the AI for the lore generation and for the images, and then we've got the random number rolls. Like, there is no end to the size of the collection. We have, I think, just over 250 unique ones minted so far, right? And it's only going to grow. Sorry, go ahead.
I think that, guys, that you are talking here a lot, but you are basically assuming that everybody who's watching us right now knows what this is about. So why don't we start by you guys explaining us what the hell is Flip Tribes?
Thanks,
good
Juan.
idea. Chris, you want to go, or you want me to take it?
I mean, I'll give it a rundown quickly. So it's a NFT collection where every card has an AI generated image from a couple of different schemas, and all those schemas have some lore and some unique features behind them. So we start with the AI gods and the fluffy puffs, where AI gods are sort of hyper wired, fractal, very interesting sort of melty characters, and the fluffy puffs are sort of cute, round, fluffy characters. And then each card has 4 numbers on it. And then a description that is pulled together from that card, from some basic lore seeding, and then from other cards chosen at random. So it starts to build on other adventures and stuff in the description for the card. And so then the cards will initially be used for a game called Flip. I've got other ideas as well, but Flip is what I wanted to build. I played a whole lot of Triple Triad from Final Fantasy VIII when I was growing up and really loved that game. Apparently there's a few sort of in the same vein, like apparently Marvel Snap, a lot of people have played and is sort of similar to what we're planning on here. So if you've played either of those, you'll have some idea of what the gameplay is going for. And so when I initially conceived this, I was really mostly just thinking about the playing for keeps, because that's what I remember enjoying doing as a kid. And that's what I remember on the schoolyard, the idea of like the game is a 3x3 game board. When you put down a card, if it's the first card, then nothing happens. But if you put down a card beside another card, then if your number is higher than their number, it flips their card over into your color. And so there's different rules that can be added on top of that, but that's the basic mechanic. When I was young, I really loved the playing for keeps, where you basically, it doesn't really matter who wins or loses at the end. What matters is which cards you flipped. If you manage to flip their really powerful card, you get to walk off with it. Or if you're looking for a bunch of other cards in the collection, you can sort of focus on those instead. But where we're going to start is...
Sorry.
No, perfect.
So good. Sorry, I have this reaction every single time I play with this. But the fact that it got the hot dog suit so well, oh my god, I can't even re-roll this one.
Right?
Sorry, Chris, continue.
No, that's okay. And so yeah, Corey entered a few words for description. Just hot dog costume. Yeah.
Hot dog and costume.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so that's what it generates the first time. And then if he wants, he can re-roll the image for a couple of more credits. Like if you're happy with the numbers and you just don't like the image as much, you can hit the button and see how it goes. It's always a crapshoot, right? Same
Yeah.
with re-rolling the numbers. Like a 6 is pretty good. You could re-roll and you might get better, but
All right,
like
I'm gonna re-roll. I definitely can't re-roll this image. It's too fucking adorable. But I will re-roll the numbers just to see what we get.
And and the credits you need to generate these images, you get them by paying with AIGOD.
Yes, sir.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes. The Flip Tribes has a drops page right now. Like the goal here was to offer enough that it doesn't sell out right away. We want people to come in and be able to grab them. We have regular 50 credits, and then we have a dolphin pack, which is 250 credits, and a whale pack, which is 500 credits. And so, like back of the envelope math, if you're just rolling and minting, it costs about 15 credits to do a roll and then a mint together, right? And so you get about 3 mints out of a 50 credit, with 5 credits spare. So maybe you do a re-roll on one thing here or there. But then when you actually hit the mint button, you get multiple copies of this NFT, right? So it depends on how good the numbers are. If your numbers are really, really good, you're only going to get 1 copy. But most people are getting 5, 4, or sometimes 3 copies of the NFT based on the amount of numbers that they have, the total of their side numbers.
So my re-roll was not great.
Was worse, yeah. So
Yeah, it was bad.
those are the risks.
Definitely.
No, I
do that
found
again.
myself yesterday re-rolling a couple of times because it was like, oh, it's a fractal one, and I might get better numbers. And yeah, I got worse numbers, pretty good numbers, and then worse numbers again. I really should have stopped, but
right. Well, and there's there is. And this is because again, like we released this really, really fast as like a kind of a super beta sort of thing, which is so. Oh, that 8's not bad. I'm not mad about that at all.
No,
that's pretty good. All right, screw it. I'll mint it.
8s are
but yeah,
tough
so
to
there.
get, right? Like
What's that?
I forget exactly what the odds are on 8, but I think it's worse than 1 in 100.
Yeah, it's pretty low. And yeah, we have the rarities pinned. I think Maestro actually got a 9, and that's like 1 in 1,000. So that's pretty solid. So yeah, then you just mint it, and it'll do all the stuff.
And so yeah, like about 50 credits gets you 3 minutes out of credits.
I can solve that.
And so if you're getting, say 4 cards per mint, right? That's 12 cards out of 50 credits. Which you only need 5 cards to play, and you're allowed to use duplicates. So really just 1 key and one of these 50 credits things will be enough to get you started. Now, as an aside, I keep watching the market because I keep waiting for people to post some of these cards cheap, right? Because, I'm a collector and I would like to collect some of the ones that people are doing. It's not even so much about the numbers. I'd like to see them, but no one's selling for less than like 70 wax right now. And like, that's enough to buy a whole 50 credit pack.
Right.
So
yeah, that's interesting.
But we are seeing trades, right? People are swapping them around. It's just no one has really started to list for low enough to make it easy to just snap them up, which is fascinating.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, granted, like I'm too freaking busy all the time anyway. So yeah, basically I hit mint for 10 credits. You can go and check it out on Nifty Blocks where it exists already. But then, and I highly recommend everybody do this. You can tweet about it. Just click that. It just posted over to Twitter. And you can just share it every single time.
And you can edit the tweet. It just pre-composes something with a link in it to make it easy for you. There is a bug that I noticed, or I think Corey, you noticed, that if you're minting multiple ones in a session, the tweet seems to link to the first one that you minted. So that's on my short list to fix. I promised myself once it all went live, I would take a day off. So I took yesterday off properly. And now I'm ready to get back into it.
No, that's super smart.
It's too easy to sit down and blink, and it's been 12 hours of coding,
Yeah, I mean, same once I start, anytime I show up here, like there's been multiple days this week that I start at 3:00 in the morning for some ungodly reason. And then it'll be like 5 or 6 at night. I'm like, what happened?
Right.
Anyway. TC, yeah, people should make bundle packs with a key plus 50 credits.
Smart.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm actually having a bunch of ideas. Rex, I bought a couple of hubs. We're sort of, I think our main idea behind that is, they're very, very limited. We think there's going to be a lot of players in this game. There's going to be a lot of demand. Obviously, that'll build up over time, and it'll be the owners of those hubs that are making the keys and selling them. And getting those things out there. And I think the more inventive they can be around that, the better it's going to go. So TC obviously just hems right into that. I was thinking of even making some with, I've got some Upliftium or some other stuff or whatever. Like you can make packs that are really interesting and have those out there and just kind of make it cross pollinate that stuff, as Mana would say from yesterday. I do want to touch
definitely
on TC's. So what if you partner up and do random mint that adds a collection logo to mint? That's probably something that we could layer on, Tuttle, or no?
So yeah, I mean, so each of the schemas, right, the AIs and the fluffy puffs set up individually, and it's easy for me to extend that. So
Right.
if we partnered with a collection that wanted their own schema, then we could fairly easily add their logo as part of when we're adding the borders and images and stuff. It's definitely something that's doable. If you can describe your logo in words and it tends to come up well, then you can do it in the system as is, right? Just try to use that as your features. But
right. Fun stuff. Yeah, that's
so. Just one more note on the numbers before we move on to bigger numbers are obviously, generally speaking, better. The first version of the game that's going to come out is just with the basic, simple, no rule set beyond that, right? So you're flipping based on the higher numbers. But we will have some ranges. I think we'll start with just 2 ranges of numbers that you can enter into, like a low and a high number range.
Right.
So if you want to play with your low number cards, we'll make sure that the AI isn't picking all of its super high number cards out of the collection for you. But if you want to play with your high level cards, we're going to make sure that the AI is sort of matched to you to a certain extent there. So the low level cards, low number cards are not worthless. Definitely going to have modes in that game. But then there are future rules that I'm kind of itching to add already. Like there's a rule called same, where if the number, if you place a card and there's 2 other cards and it's touching both of them, and if the numbers that are battling on each of those sides add up to the same number, then you flip both those cards. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a higher number. Like if they're a 6 and a 7, right, and you play a 3 and a 4, and they match up, so it adds up to 10, then you'll flip both their cards, even if your numbers are lower, right? So there's some strategy there where people in some of these other rules can take advantage of cards that have really specific numbers, right? So yeah, don't just dump your cards if they're low numbers necessarily. Not that I don't want to snap them up, but there will be reasons for that sort of stuff later as well.
Well, and even I love the idea of I would probably buy some tomato ones, and honestly, almost every single one that comes on the through the Telegram channel, I am constantly astounded. It's super fun, and the fact that you get to put the words in, it really is for you. There's that level of stickiness. Even the ones, just for everybody that doesn't know this, we had there was a fluff mints or something like that, our test collection, where we had a few testers kind of doing that stuff, and literally all of us are like, is there any way we could bring these with us, because you get attached to them so quickly, and they're just freaking little playing cards. You should not be getting attached to it, but I did, because I put the words in, and it sort of embodies that sort of imagined thing that was kind of in the back of my head or whatever, and it's a whole thing.
Yeah, I think it's called the IKEA effect. So you get affectionate if you build it yourself, even if it's cards you assembled.
Interesting.
The IKEA effect.
Well, that would explain why so few people, I really did assume. So you hit mint, you get 4 copies of the card, 1 copy of it goes to the Flip Tribes account. I assumed you'd put 3 up on the market and try to get enough money for another pack back or something like that. But that is not how it is playing through. And so that makes sense when people are more attached to them. And I mean, obviously, I'm not listing mine either. I'm surprised how attached I'm getting to some other people's cards too, though, right? You see the card and you see the picture. I think there's a tiger one. There's a couple in there that I thought are just super cool. And, there was a bear last night that came through that was very awesome.
I agree. So, Tuttle, how sort of stuff that isn't built yet, but I'm pretty sure it's what we're gonna do. How much can we talk about how we want to do the victory NFTs?
I mean, I think we should float the whole loop, because we have time to change things if there's a whole lot of pushback. And I think that it's a pretty good structure. So now's a pretty good time to talk about the idea, right?
Rock and roll.
Yeah. Okay, so when it comes time for the game itself, right, it is gated by an AIGOD transaction, just like the mint side of things, but that can be increased, right? So the option here is to have sort of fairly low price to get in for every time you play the game, basically 10 AIGOD, basically nothing, or to have a gate price that is more reflective of the kind of rewards that you can get if you win. So think about that, everybody, as well, right? And discuss the pros and cons, because it's something that we really need to decide on. So then you play. right? And we'll probably have the 2 modes like we were talking about, the lower mode and the higher mode for numbers. And you battle the AI, and so you win. If you win with like 6-4, then you're going to get, I think we're calling it like a bronze victory NFT, and we'll have to figure out exactly how we're doing these borders and qualities so that it doesn't confuse people.
Yeah.
But there will be a different victory NFT for the low numbers and the high numbers. And then there will be a different victory NFT if you win by just a little bit versus if you totally dominate the AI, right? Like if you win 9-1, there's going to be something special for that.
Well, and we could change the and this is getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but we could probably change the prompts on the stories to make them even more epic victories.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Sorry.
That's why having this differentiation is good, is both of those sides. So
Right.
then the NFT itself will be a sort of basic, just like the cards, it'll have a border type thing, and then it will have a description, and we'll probably do it as text saved to an image on the card itself. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to do this, but there's a few good options, and then text in the card. But it'll be a description of the battle that you just had. So it'll take the best card on your side, the best card on their side, and it'll put them into sort of an epic battle, probably supported by the other cards on their team, because the game knows all the cards that were involved. And so that victory NFT will represent the victory that you just had. So that's fun. You may want to keep those. They can therefore be pulled on for other lore, right? So, the more victory NFTs that you have, the more likely that your characters and the lore around them are going to wind up in everybody's cards as they're being minted. But then the plan is to have a blend out system for these victory NFTs. So that's where you get the AIGOD for rewards. So the victory NFTs are sort of a placeholder, although a lot of people may want to keep them. But you'll be able to blend them to get the AIGOD from the rewards pool representative for your victories.
So I want to go over this again a little bit, because it can we get a recipe of the show with rules explained? I don't understand all of it. So you said I'm French. Sorry, Kent. That's interesting. Like a French transcript translation. That's not impossible actually. But when we do the rules and the write-up, because that's coming, right? The biggest request we had was, this minter is cool, but what the fuck is this? What the hell is happening? Which we totally understand. We get it.
And I played it, and once you start playing, you understand it. But I think that if you only only see it there, it's like
what is even this? When we do the full write-up, like this is like the whole thing as currently constituted, it's gonna make some sense. But once you play your first game, like honestly, it didn't make any sense to me until I actually started flipping cards, and then it was probably like 4 test games before I really understood. And honestly, I think I still suck, but I really like the cards. So rock and roll, we'll keep learning, whatever. So that's gonna be fun. But so the victory NFT TC, this is inspired by conversations that you and I have had, I think it's I can't stop thinking about it now. So basically, when you win, it's gonna take the story of your NFT and the story of the best NFT from your opponent, whether it be AI or like we're gonna have player versus player before too long, right? It takes those two and it goes back to the AI and said, okay, TC beat Corey on this one. Write the most ridiculously epic story you possibly can, because it was like a 9-1 victory or whatever it is, right? It's going to write that story, and then from that story, it's going to create the image, right? So suddenly, like, this NFT that you win is going to be another fully AI processed, deep in the lore thing that exists now forever. And as long as that NFT is not burned, that story is actually going to get fed back into the AI process so that it might show up in other future stories. You'll notice in the descriptions for all these NFTs, it actually brings up other characters. And pretty soon you're going to notice that it's going to bring up your characters in other NFTs sometimes. And the more you win, the more that character is going to show up in the lore, which is going to be interesting. So all that's really fun. But then, people want to, play this game to earn AIGOD. You could still do that. But to do that, you have to blend that NFT and basically burn it in that blend to get the AIGOD, right? So at any point, that AIGOD is technically sitting there in that NFT, and you can go in and trade it in for AIGOD, which is your winnings, right? At any time. We're really curious. I'm really curious myself. Like, how long am I going to keep these victory NFTs? And I honestly don't know the answer to that, right? Like, it might be like 6 months from now, and who knows? AIGOD's mooned or not or whatever, and it'll sort of create this a pretty interesting dynamic.
Okay, so let me see if I get this, because So basically, First thing you do if you want to play, you go to the website and you will have to meet. No, first you have to buy some NFTs to have credits, right? So you can buy 50 or 250 credits, and then you go to the website, and with those credits, you can start minting NFTs, right?
One other step: you need to have either a red key or a blue key, and that lets you access the whole game.
Okay, and what's a red key and what's a blue key?
Just an NFT,
Yeah, but why do I need a key?
so that you can get in the game.
Okay, so it's just like my membership to be.
Yes.
Yeah,
able to
so
play.
a key
That's
is
a good way to
just
think
the
about it.
membership. There's a red key and a blue key. So if you want to do a bunch of mints and you're really worried about the numbers, the blue key gives a 5% boost to your numbers rolls. It's not a whole lot. It adds up a bit over time. You'll probably see the influence of it, but it's not something I would be desperate to have in order to mint, right? But you do need a key to get into the minter and to the game. And then you need 5 of the NFTs. So you can get those by minting them yourself, or ideally, too, you should be able to buy them off the market if you just want to buy some of other people's NFTs.
If more people would put them on sale.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so you have your 5 NFTs, so you can start playing. And depending on the numbers that you have on your on each NFT, you will flip your neighbor's NFTs, or they will flip yours. Right?
Correct. Yeah, the game plays out turn-based. Right now it's set up so you go first, and so there's a 3x3 game board, and you place your first card, and then you'll see the AI places their card, and if they place their card beside your card and their number is bigger, it's going to flip your card over to their color, and then it's your turn again. And so the game proceeds in that order until the last card is down. The score starts at 5-5, so it's basically the amount of cards that are your color in game. And so usually the game ends at like 6-4 or 7-3. I've seen 8-2 and 9-1 before, but it's pretty rare to win by that much. And so, yeah, you've got your cards, you go to the game, you should be able to choose, low numbers or high numbers. So if you want to play with your lower cards or your higher cards, you should be able to choose. I'm guessing each of those will have a slightly different entry fee in AIGOD, right? So maybe the low numbers will be fairly inexpensive to play, but will have fairly small victory NFT blends, whereas the high numbers might be a little bit riskier but have better rewards. But I'm not totally sure. We'll have to decide. And then you play. So, yeah, and then you win.
And if you win, you get one of these win NFTs that you will be able to switch for AIGOD.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the idea is just going to be we'll have blends to AIGOD for all the different NFTs. I don't think we're going to get complicated there. Maybe down the line, years from now, it'll be like, oh, you can blend for more AIGOD if you combine a bunch of these things. But for now, the simple is better on this one. And then we'll make sure that the AIGOD is reserved, right? Like when a victory NFT is minted, that rewards AIGOD is basically gone, right? Because it's for that NFT. But we're assuming some people are not going to burn that NFT either. But we don't want to get into a situation where there's more outstanding AIGOD than in the rewards pool. So we'll be making sure to keep track of that quite closely.
Yeah, 100%. Like basically every single minted victory NFT that's out there that hasn't been burned yet, the AIGOD that's in that blend mix, basically, like in the NFT contract, has to be the same. Like has to match it all the time.
Totally.
I like it. Sign me up.
Right, and so that's the basic loop. For this first season, it's going to be against an AI. Right, the AI is not phenomenally difficult to play against. Is not super duper easy either. We've got some ideas for some other AIs. I played with using ChatGPT directly because you can pass it all of the game states and have it make its moves, and it plays. It's just I don't think it's as good as the AIs that I've built with it. But I might make that as a Easter egg option for people to just technically play right against ChatGPT. It's not like when you're trying to play Hangman with it and it just tells you its answers all the time, right? Like in this, it actually has to make real moves, so it does work.
Right.
And then, down the line, we'll add the PvP. That's something that I'm super interested in, so it's definitely going to be happening.
Well, and the game mode where you're playing for each other's cards, scares the shit out of me, and I will definitely play it. Right? It's like I'm already getting attached to these things. So if I know I'm like playing, PvP versus one or versus somebody that staked their stuff, which is something we'll talk about later on. Basically, like if you have a bunch of stuff, you're going to be able to play PvP without being there. We'll get into that later. But if I'm playing versus one and we're like playing for keeps, like what if I'm playing cards I really love? It's freaking scary as hell.
Right? And do you bring your 7-8 that you've got into the battle and know that you can flip your cards with it, or are you worried that you're gonna win the game but lose your 7-8 and be out
Yeah, that's a scary dynamic right there. So David Palmer, when you sell one of the 3 NFTs, do they own just that one and the 2 remaining will still be playable? Yeah, I mean, each one of them is an NFT that is playable in the game. So if you sell one, like if you sold one to me, I'd be able to use that in the game. Like it'll show up in the NFTs that I can choose to play in that hand. So yeah, you can, whatever ones you sell, they belong to the other person and they are now playable by that other person.
Yeah, and again, when you mint, the Flip Tribes wallet also gets one. He gets the final mint of each one, and those are the cards that you're going to wind up playing against.
100%. So yeah, Dapper, if you can't show us how it works, walk us through the steps. I'm going to make a video this week that shows, walking through the thing. I already made one for the minter that people can check out. Pretty sure it's in the pin post. I think it's on the Flip Tribes Twitter too. If not, I'll put it up there. But yeah, so that process, you can see how all that stuff works step by step. And then the video, the actual gameplay, I'm gonna do. And I'm actually already seeing some people in the AIGOD Telegram chat that are gonna smoke me in the game when we start playing PvP. Like these people have clearly thought this through. so yeah, once Tuttle's been working on the game behind the scenes and stuff. Once it's back sort of in a test environment, I'll make that video and we'll post it out there.
Yeah, I could technically push it right now, send Corey an NFT and have us walk through it, but it's not as polished as it could be, right? I got it up and working and then focused on polishing the minter, and giving me a couple of days to make it smoother is going to help, right? I think that's going to help people more than seeing something that is functional but not all the way there yet.
Awesome sauce.
But yeah, just so everybody knows on the back end, like it works, right? You can log in, it's gate key dependent, the gameplay works, the AIs work, the victory works. Right now it's set up to take the AIGOD in and just a straight up, or I think I'm using wax just as the test, but like it takes 1 wax to play a game, and if you win really well, I think you get 0.6 wax out because it's just testing, right? But it shows that the whole system is there, it's working. I just have to put the coat of paint on it and decide exactly how we want the mechanics to work for going in and going out.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I think there was some chat before about even doing some like 1-player credit NFTs and stuff like that. We still got to figure that out.
And the question is, how long before it's open for everybody to play?
Goal is 2 weeks, probably a little bit under 2 weeks. I tend to binge once I get into this stuff. So like, we're heading into some really nice weather this week. It's blackberry flow season for our honeybees. So there's a chance I'll get honeybee swarms to deal with, and that's pretty much the only interruption. I have a thing to do in Vancouver on the 23rd. So like, it's sort of my personal goal to make sure it's all polished off before that. If I'm not polished off before that, then I'm back on like the 24th, and it would be a couple of more days, but I think we'll be good. Honestly, like I think if I just cram a couple of days and we'll be totally polished off, but like let's spend some time testing all the mechanics, let's talk to people about the numbers, let's make sure everyone's really happy, because we've released a lot recently and there's a lot to play with right now. So
Cool.
No, I think giving this a little bit of extra time and really having the hammering down the mechanics and chatting with everybody about it and make sure that nobody has any better ideas, which is always possible. And getting the write-up done so people can look at that, get the video done so people can look at that, right? Like I don't think there's any need to really rush this. We want to get this right. So
no, and on the other hand, people are testing it, and that's good. You get good feedback, and yeah, you adjust as you go.
Exactly. I just want to make it really clear that this isn't here's an NFT collection, we're launching a game, and then a year later it's like, where's the game? This is all absolutely happening, like we're not promising stuff that isn't already built.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and that's really cool. What I find very scary is the part where you play with your NFTs. Not that I don't like it. I kind of love it, but there you really you really have something at stake, because losing money, losing a token, it's one thing, but losing an NFT that you love and you know that it's good,
That's
that's
Well,
so-
and that's why I imagine like where I want to play the play for keeps mode to start is with my low cards, right? I want to take my sort of low number cards, play with other people against their low number cards, and build a diversity with my duplicates by flipping some of theirs. And then I don't worry so much if I lose a duplicate. But I know people are going to play for the high stakes there too. There's undoubtedly going to happen.
Yeah.
So David, so he doesn't think we should lose it. That's just going to be a game mode. It's not going to be how this starts, right? How it starts, you're going to put some AIGOD on the line or what have you, and you'll be able to win your victory NFT that you could trade in for AIGOD. Very simple, right? All your NFTs come back to you. Nobody's stealing your NFTs. You're not playing for NFTs versus somebody else, right? But what we're sort of envisioning is sort of an add-on game mode where if you're a lunatic and you want to just be fueled with aggression and anxiety or like just then you can kind of adopt to play that game mode, but you'd have to want to. So for you would never have to, but like if you have a bunch of NFTs that you're like a bunch of cards that you don't care about, or you have lots of them or whatever, then I think it could be like a really interesting kind of wrinkle in the game. I really want to take Juan's card now.
Maybe we'll see people solving arguments by playing for keeps in this game.
There it is. This is going to be the future of all international diplomacy. Like instead of going to war, you're just going to play flip tribes, and we're all just going to live with the results. That's how the world needs to be. Oh man, that's fun. That's fun. All right,
I guess
Dennis.
I'll add one more teaser just before Dennis goes through that. If you look at the NFTs on Nifty Blocks, you'll see they've got the side numbers all there, but each side number is also labeled with an attribute, right? And so that's not for flip. That's because I can't help myself but plan other games that these cards could be involved in that are pretty simple and straightforward. So you'll see on the side numbers, there's intelligence, wisdom, fortitude, and I forget what the third one is right now, but yeah, there's 4 attributes there that we can work with for some other smaller games that, just give you multiple uses to do with your cards. There's also 3 mutable attributes on there that say coming soon for battle count, battles won, and energy. So I'm going to try to get the mutable stuff. I don't think it'll be a problem, but I'm going to try to set it up so it does update your battles count and your battles won live when you play against the AI. So as soon as that's done, you'll be able to check your card and see the new attributes. Energy, we had thought we were going to put it in on the earlier side, but I think it's too complicated to add right now. So I think we'll just leave it as coming soon until we're at a point where the whole community agrees it's a decent idea. But there we can have a number like 10 that counts down every time you play. And so once your card has been involved in 10 different battles, it needs to be recharged. And there's various ways we could recharge them, either through AIGOD or on the Flip Tribe side. But that's not going to come initially. So you don't have to worry about that for especially the first season.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, so one more question. I think this is because usually like Scran is thinking 15 steps ahead of the rest of this. What's the possibility that we can join a game and have our webcams on so we can see the player we're playing?
Fascinating.
Right?
Let me look into it. I cannot make a promise right now. I know that's going to involve some intermediary stuff, but like, it's not impossible. Dr. Wayne's favorite saying in the past used to be anything's possible with enough time or money. Now that I've been doing a lot more coding, I sort of understand that. My personal favorite coding saying is that coding is literally just a matter of getting to or spanning from point A to point B with the least material possible. And I think that's a really interesting metaphor for it. And I can see there's not necessarily a ton of material in between here. It's just, I can't make any promises. I am going to write it down, though, because that's fun. It would certainly have to be an opt-in thing, like I would rather play a lot of games without that. But like, especially for the PvP mode, right? If you're playing for keeps, like I was already thinking we could have random matchmaking, but we could also have like a game number system. So if somebody really wanted to play against somebody else specifically, they could meet up in chat, talk about it for a while, and then they could each put in a specific number to wind up in a game with each other. So for those kind of more private systems, I could totally see the value of having a webcam and some trash talk that you could be doing live while you're playing for keeps.
Yeah, there you go. One thing, no one, he's very excited about this, is captured is the emotion of players playing so people can see the fun we're having. I think that's a huge part of it. And really, like, the victory NFTs is sort of like angling. I know it's not like seeing the people's faces and like seeing, my absolute like fall into the depths of depression when one steals my favorite card someday. But yeah, I think I completely agree that, like, once people experience this, we see a total difference, right? If you've tried the Minter, you're a lot more of a fan of this than if you haven't tried the Minter so far. And the game is going to be the same way, right? And if there's a game, and if there's stakes, and if it's player versus player, I think it's going to be a really interesting thing. And the more we can engage people in that emotion and share it with people, Scron, I completely agree. That's going to be pretty amazing.
One quick warning for the Minter too, before we just jump in. There's 1 or 2 errors that we've seen at the end of image generation where there's like an unexpected JSON character or a doc type HTML error. I'll be fixing those before I go back to the game. Your image has generated. So if you see that, just refresh the page and log in and you'll see it there. Any other errors, they don't take your credits, they don't do anything, but there's this one little error that I'm dealing with where everything finishes and then on the front end you get an error. So if you refresh, it's all going to be there for you. Everything else seems to be working smoothly, and I guarantee that I'll fix that before I get into the flip game. It's just, I promised myself I'd take yesterday off.
Love it. Awesome sauce. All right, so Dennis, I saw you tweeted some stats about AIGOD. How long ago was it, Juan, that we dropped this thing? Like 3 weeks?
Yeah, 3 weeks, definitely.
In a little bit, maybe?
Under a month, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, time flies, but I think we have come far. It was really interesting because the latest situation we had is actually people saying, okay, it is a little bit stressful to keep up, and there's so much happening. Please slow down and catch up with all the explanations and website and etc. That was a little bit left behind because we moved so fast.
Yeah, and that's definitely the phase you guys are getting into now, right? Some consolidation and getting people caught up on everything and doing some write-ups and that.
Yeah, definitely. It's always a matter of prioritization, and I think it's definitely time to start a marketing engine, to have a little bit consolidation when it comes to the information, to have the onboarding process nicely, because I can fully understand at the moment it's a little bit like hell to go through all these pinned messages and basically have a big puzzle to see what's going on. So definitely a part we need to catch up now.
I would admit that a Discord would be nice too. Like, I'm not going to be one to push for that, but we built a pretty expansive AI that can live in Discord, and like there's some good Telegram Discord ones out there already, but the one that we built is awesome, and I would love to have it primed with all of this information and be able to do a lot of the question answering and moderation for us. So and I'm pretty sure the plan will be for Flip Tribes to exist in the AIGOD Telegram and then in a channel in the AIGOD Discord, and not to have our own separate one, because again the goal here is to boost each other and stand up together, like two people standing up back to back.
I can definitely see a time when Flip Tribes needs its own Discord, but definitely not right now.
Just because we can totally do that.
Yeah, no, it's a thing. And the main reason I say it is, like, Scron saying is Flip Tribes just for AIGOD, or will Flip Tribes use other tokens? So the reason why the word tribes is in the title is because it's absolutely intended to be multi-token. So for the foreseeable future, it's going to be just AIGOD, but we've got a few projects shortlisted that could become part of the Flip Tribes community, and would get its own schema, and obviously have its own reward pools and sort of game loops, so that you're playing for that token, and you're able to buy some of the Flip Tribes assets for that token, and that fills up the rewards pool, blah 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 blah, right?
Yeah.
Definitely designed
like an ecosystem, basically. Right. So basically you can also make one crowd familiar with the project of the other crowd and have this interwoven community around these cards and the battles. And I think it will be really beneficial to all projects that are coming in later.
Exactly. And like, to me personally, like, this was about AIGOD, right?
Yeah.
And the point of building this was something interesting to do with AIGOD, the AI image generation, the descriptions, it all dovetailed really nicely with AIGOD. But like, the way it is built out is on our company MetaMinds, right, which is basically going to get some of the development AIGOD from AIGOD as part of this project. And my goal is to support AIGOD first, right? Like, I don't see any reason to be moving to other projects unless they're offering fairly big incentives that benefit the entire community, which therefore also includes AIGODs. And like Corey mentioned, the obvious area for that is if you want a schema, you put up a bunch of tokens for a reward pool, and we give an option for entry in those tokens and blend out victory NFTs to those tokens as well. And that can run very parallel to what's going on with the AIGOD. But I just don't see a rush for it. Right.
No,
and like,
definitely
same with
not.
credits. Like, we've released enough credits. The goal here was for them to not sell out. And the goal here, like, all the AIGOD from those credits is going into the AIGOD reward pool. Right. This isn't something where Flip Tribes is directly benefiting there. The point is build up a really big AIGOD rewards pool, make sure that that is the primary engine for what's going on here. And then anybody else that wants to come can, but they're a part of it. It's not repeating exactly what we did with AIGODs with other projects.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we are already at 8% or even above that, I think, when it comes to the rewards pool.
Almost 9, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pushing 9.
Well,
9% of total supply.
One question here, a bit technical, but for the game, is every happening inside the game? Is there something being recorded on chain, or the only use of the blockchain is the NFTs?
So it'll be entry to the game and the NFT exit to the game that'll be on chain. The actual gameplay will happen on a server.
Okay.
It's doable to move all of this to a smart contract at some point if there was a real reason to. The turn-based mechanics are functional, but I saw it play out with cogs, and I saw the difficulties in trying to merge all of that to start, and it just felt like it made more sense to have the full control.
Absolutely. So sometimes it doesn't even make sense. We have a game that we developed and we have never launched or we haven't launched yet. And yeah, basically what we have on chain is the login process and keeping a balance. The rest, it happens on a server because it doesn't make sense to store everything on chain. But I was just curious about what was the idea here.
Yeah, I sat down and I really thought about doing the game side on the smart contract and kind of made the decision to go server for it. I don't know. Like I said, there's some other games and some doing more of that on contract might make sense as well. But like you say, you should use the technology that's going to work best for the people that are going to be using this. Yeah. And like, I doubt that our audience are people that are Web3 blockchain only or bust. There's especially on Wax, people have adopted that hybrid approach a lot more, and very little is truly trustless, right? Like, even the smart contract stuffs aren't always as trustless, as you would think in the end. So like, you're going to have to a certain extent trust us, right? But like, I don't have any incentive to do anything weird there, and like, the gameplay is very mechanical, right? Like, there's not randomness in the game. I was tempted. So one of the game modes too from Triple Triad and stuff is an open game mode where you actually see the opponent's hand, right? And so you both hit separately, but you see each other's hands. And so you've basically got the entire game state there to try to puzzle through and play out. And those games can become very challenging because, you're planning 5 moves ahead because you can't help yourself. And, I'd like to see some of that stuff as well, where you've taken all the non-determinism out of it and turned it into an awfully strategic game.
Right.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting. That's for dang sure. And yeah, like I have to try not to think about the 50 trillion things that we can do after the initial thing is set out. Just because it's like, just get the MVP and have it make sense. It's just like,
and that's where I'm trying with the game. make
Yeah.
sure the interface is smooth and that everything is extensible, right? So
Yeah.
that we've got the
Yeah.
basic stuff, but that that I know exactly where I'll be adding everything in later. So that way, if you come up to me and you're like, Chris, I need this game mode where it multiplies every number by 3 and then adds your element to the left side or something like that, I can say it's doable and implement it in a couple of days. You know, that's the real goal here, is to make this a platform that we can add to.
Fun.
Cool.
Fun. Cool beans. So yeah,
Yeah.
where's the burn rate on AI God right now, Dennis? Do you know?
It's 2.5 or something. We just had a tweet about it. Let me check.
So 2.5% of the supply has already been burned.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. People actually conduct a lot of transactions. I think it's really an advantage to not be a meme coin only, but to have some kind of utility always tied to it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
2.38 trillion tokens burned, which is about 2.4% of the total. 8.78 trillion tokens are currently in the rewards pool as of this morning, which is non-trivial.
So much. Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Like, I would say, I mean, I don't know. You guys are going to have to talk about it, but my assumption is that we're not going to make all of that accessible for the first season. That we're going to have this pool last for a few seasons and get built up, because that's a lot of AI God. Right?
Yeah.
So,
No, I think it makes sense to kind of make it last a little bit longer, and then really, like, you know, the I've been thinking about this way too much over the last little while, but like, just to, you know, there's all the AI God that we put in by buying stuff and whatever, right? Like that's how we're growing all that stuff, right? So obviously we want to be able to play the game and try and get sort of the principal back. The real sort of juicy bit is all the rewards from all the transactions that are already there, right? That's sort of like the potential win that's over and above what we've all put in to play the game. And over time, that just keeps going up, right? Like all the volume that AI God always has, that the percentage of the sort of a natural rewards token that's in there continues to grow. And that, you know, ends up, I think, producing a lot of life and potential sort of, you know, good win feelings for the gameplay.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
We spent a lot of AI God to make NFTs. I have too, and I'm nowhere near done. Like, that's now that I'm seeing Maestro do like he's doing like the featured tomato things, and Scorpion actually did too. There's a bunch of like, I think it was Red Scorpion that did like a bunch of different Scorpion things for the AI God things. It just is super fun. I think like thinking about this in terms of making like a sub genre in the game that's like stylistically coherent. For some reason, I just hadn't thought of it, and TC totally had thought about it. I think you even told me about it. I just completely forgot. But that's just, I have so many ideas for that now that I'm gonna end up spending way too much AI on this. That's just the way to do it. Yep.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
And so
And,
just with the Minter too, so it's 5 credits to roll, and that gets you an image, a description, and the numbers. Re-rolling the numbers by themselves, leaving the image and the description, is 3 credits. And re-rolling the image while leaving the numbers and description the same as 3 credits. So if you don't like your image, numbers, and description, just hit roll again, right?
Yeah.
But if you like your image and description and you want to try again with some different numbers, you can by re-rolling the numbers. And it's a little bit less than doing a full re-roll.
Ants are gonna dominate the Scorpions. All right, okay, guys. Let's do something weird. Everybody put in one word that you would put into one of these features. And let's make a one together, just for fun. Oh wait, I mean, Ants is obvious with that.
Oh, one thing I've noticed is that if you give the character a fun name at the start, it often uses the name, because I've known the names are a little bit generic when they get generated. Like the first name's almost always good, but the AI likes to do, you know, the something or whatever. And
I already love this.
Yep.
So okay, Linux, nice. That's smart. I don't know why I'm doing it all yelling, but here it is. All right, steak, lasers, Linux. Let's do at least a couple more. Penguins, Optimus. Let's spell right. Boobs. Fuck off. Horror. Kent. That's too scary. Banana.
Banana. Stripper. Come on.
David, you're fired. All right.
It
So when
does-
I said put words in, what I meant to say was put words in that I like. Antacular? What the hell? I'm gonna do it though. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll take one more, and not like booby fucked hard. Jesus, what degens? Yeah,
So-
the Linux mascot is a penguin. That's why I didn't put the penguin in there, Geeky, just because I figured that would fit.
So yeah, it
All right.
takes a handful of features. Personally, I tend to go with like 3 or 4 and reinforce them a bit. I've found people, you get different results for sure as you spread them out a little bit. Give it a roll.
Mustard done. That's messed up. Ah.
Okay.
Dapper. That
And we're
okay. I kind of want to do another. I'm just gonna keep it this one right now, but I might have to do another one. Dapper Matrix is gonna start the next one. That's fun. I'll give these away too. Whatever we get, I'm gonna give them away.
Ooh.
This part is so fun. I'm really glad that you put in the freaking loading thing so that we actually know that it's.
I
like,
almost
yeah.
changed it to be the same icon as the loading, but I just couldn't bring myself to get rid of the silly loading.
Yeah,
word.
it's kind of fun. It's kind of
But
fun.
later on, because this is the longest process, I'll probably do a little pop-up that just gives some people some basic information again about what's going on, or maybe even just a short video of playing the game. We'll figure out something to do with this
Right.
time.
Mhm.
But I think that the having the a reminder about the rarity numbers, just like this is going to pop up, right? And then like what kind of information do people need to make decisions that are potentially more interesting, right? So you have the feature rarities and whatever I don't know, best practices or ideas you can kind of get for minting and stuff. Okay, so this error happening. Do I just refresh now?
Yes, just refresh now.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I know where to fix that. I just
And then I just have to log in again.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. We knew this was an issue, so that's just part of it.
Yeah, no, it just bugs me. I thought I had everything ironed out,
Okay.
But
Boop. Yeah, this is kind of fun. Okay, it did work. All right, cool. What the
okay.
frick? Optimandible, the unstable emissary.
What is that?
What the hell? In the neon-lit cybernetic jungle of Veraticus, Optimandible rules as an erratic yet supreme entity. Carved from the essence of volatile energies and ancient Linux algorithms, this AI god embodies the duality of order and chaos. Its relationship with Gaspar, the ethereal squatter. What? See, so here's the thing. You pay attention to these things. Some of them were embedded in the initial lore, but
almost
more and
none
more
of them were. One was,
Oh,
I think.
oh,
Almost
really? Oh,
everybody
that's
else was
amazing.
real.
All right, so okay, I'm gonna go over to Nefty and find that one. So Gaspar, the ethereal squatter, is my NFT's buddy. It's profoundly symbiotic. That sounds almost gross when you put it like that. That's funny. All right, well, gotta mint it. What do the numbers look like? Kind of
fine.
middling. Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, anything north of 5 is good.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But well-rounded numbers have their own values, right? Like if
That's
you're
true.
playing at a
That's
lower
true.
card tier, having those sides means that you're a little more defensible. So
Yeah, I like simple words. I'm gonna start the next one with Dapper Matrix Hologram, and I might just use those 3. Screw it, let's do it. I'm really glad that you explained about that freaking refresh thing, because I didn't know that was a thing. All right, so now we know
I'm
that
really
for
surprised. Like honestly, I'm not going to get into nuances of the code, but I'm really surprised that particular one crept up.
sure. Yeah, embedded within its core are stake lasers. What the fuck is a stake laser?
Well, and so that's the other thing. And I might do it before the game, to be completely honest, because it's only going to take me a few hours. But I'd like to pull all of the current cards descriptions and create a lore V2 document that is being pulled from, right? Because I've seen factions form. Like there's certain factions that are trying to weaken the paracosmic barrier, but there's also other factions that are trying to strengthen it. I've seen some unique items and runes and other things come up. And like the more we put that all together into the crucible, right, the better.
Yeah.
Right? There's no reason any of these items that come up in a description can't eventually be an actual item, right, and part of the other process.
All right, so I'm actually gonna switch over to. Oh, part of me wants to do the. No, this has to be AIGOD. All right, Dapper Matrix hologram. Go ahead.
So I would try, just because you're so close, try Dapper Matrix, comma, a holographic god. You know, just see if it goes with the name Dapper Matrix, because you can sort of play with that a little bit.
I didn't think of that. All right, cool. Bubble. Okay, hold on. Holographic bubble. I like it. Did you say holographic god? What'd you say?
Bubble's great.
Okay, holographic bubble. Okay, just because if it wasn't TC, I'd probably ignore this rect because I don't want it to screw it up. But at the same time, it's TC, so rect is going to be in there. Let's see how it goes. Now I just need some hold music. Yeah, so I love the idea. Even like even if there was like a short, like if the video was just like a almost like a walkthrough of a deck, you know, just kind of running through some cool things to think about.
Yeah, exactly.
Names.
It's no problem to put just about any video there, right? So
Right,
if there's
right.
something that we decide we want to do, you know, the process, fastest I've seen it is like 25 seconds, but usually it's closer to a minute, it seems like.
Right.
And it does handle multiple people in parallel, so you're not waiting in a queue. Well,
that's
everybody
cool.
else gets theirs done.
I just gotta say, like, you have absolutely crushed building this thing out as quickly as you did.
Thank you.
Whoa. I mean, who doesn't like a good bubble?
Fascinating, yeah. And so I'm guessing it got Emerald in Nature. Let's see. No, it got Ecosphere.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So the rarity features, the first rarity one is always one picked from our sort of more generic ones. It's got things like Sparkling Eyes and Fractal and Astral. And then the second one is always picked based on your element, right? So if you've got nature, then there's things like, you know, Verdant Forest, Ecosphere. I forget if I put Dyson Swarm in there, but there's a few things that are, you know, nature oriented that you can choose from or that get chosen. And I think there's 10 sub ones for each element. So there's an awful lot of the extra randomness that you can get put into here. I like it because it means if you put in a really simple prompt, you're going to get something different and themed every time. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, that's so. Yeah. I actually don't mind these numbers too. Yeah. So we were talking about this yesterday. Like how if you put in exactly the same words, how many different NFTs could you get? And it's like an absolutely ridiculous number.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically infinite if you include the AI stuff, but just from the procedurally chosen combinations of rarities and elements, you're looking at thousands and thousands based from a single word. Right?
All right, I'm gonna save this because I'm actually gonna use this one and make a fluffy puff of it.
Don't forget to mint it. Yeah. I'd never not mint a 7. You know, that's
that makes sense. That makes sense. Fun. All right. And yeah, once the game goes live, guys, too, like you know, I think I'll probably end up doing some lives every once in a while with whoever wants to come on just to you know, hang out and play with it. Just I really do. And this is like when we started talking about the concept, and I think this will occur to, you know, smarter people like, you know, TC and Dennis and Tuttle and frankly the rest of you guys more than it does me. Like it really, like, we're scratching the surface of something that we can turn into something that's completely bonkers level epic. Which is really exciting. Okay, so got all those things, and again, like all the ones from this one, I'll probably keep one just because it's going to be hard to give away them all. But I'll give the rest of these things away in the probably in the Telegram channel or something. Okay, so then we flip around. Yes, I want to do another one. We'll do one more, and then we'll break. Obviously, if any of you guys have any questions or suggestions or ideas, fire off in the comments, and we'll get to them.
Roll.
Yeah, I just want to see. Let's get weird. So, can you talk about the commas and how you would use them or not use them?
So you can use them to separate features clusters, right? I wouldn't just do like big, comma, round, comma, tall. I would do a big, round, tall something if I were doing it, right?
Right.
But like I use them a lot to separate what I want the name to be from what I want other features to be. So I might have done like Dapper Mick Matrix, the holographic bubble, or a holographic direct logo,
Got it.
and put the comma in there. And then it just sort of lets it know that Dapper McMatrix is probably the name and that the other things are extra features to add.
Yeah, it hadn't even occurred to me to put to try and put a thumb on the scale for the name. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to mess around with that now. All right, booyah.
Very
It's fun
dapper.
too. Like, oh, and hey, the words kind of there too. Like, we were talking about like trying to get it to not make these words, and I love it, and I couldn't even tell you why. It just it's in a magical weirdo language, and also TC.
Well, and
there's
again, like
rect in
as the models that are running this stuff gets better, they become more and more wordy, and there might be some value to those early ones where it's almost like an AI's dream still.
Right.
It was something where I did de-emphasize it, right? It comes up occasionally, but not all that often with the text. I think you could bring it into existence if some of your prompt features included text, like maybe because you added the word.
It's fun. Lumina the Dapper Mesmer. So we got crystal, dim, and dark. This is the thing. I don't even know what the sort of rarity levels or the number enhancement levels are for the thing. So that's going to be really good for me to kind of have
post them
around.
up in the document. Yeah, there is a pinned thing in Telegram that shows all the ones that give extra bonuses. Like I don't even remember if Crystal does. I know Dim doesn't. But like if you get Astral and Supernova Explosion as your two features, then I think you're getting maybe a 15% numbers boost total, maybe a 20% numbers boost total. So like, knowing what those rarity features are, and I should learn them too myself, to be honest.
Right, well, that's I think even as a maybe a quicker fix, like if there's a pop-up, like we're just going to assume, okay, when you click roll and that waiting thing, pop-up comes up on that one that just at the very least has those things in it, right?
I love that. That's easy. That I can do while I'm doing the bug fixes, and we'll just have a pop-up that shows the rarities and the rarity features that will increase them.
Right, and that way, like I'm kind of paying attention, like what are the the top 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, and are we gonna actually get those ones? All right, so I'll admit this one. I think that's. I mean, we're getting up to our sort of kind of not really hard cap.
Yeah, no, but it was a lot of information for people.
Tons.
It's nice to have all this in one place, and it's a good starting point. I'm sure you'll be running this through AIs to get some basic starting points for documents as well. But
I think that's definitely possible. And Kent, when we do our write up, I'll definitely run it through GPT-4o and stuff like that, and get like a really good French translation. And then it'd be really good to I'll have you read it, Kent, and you can sort of let us know if you think it's good or needs any adaptations or whatever.
Also, it does take other languages, so you can enter your prompt in most languages. I'm not sure which characters it might choke on. It does have a certain amount of sanitization in there, but in general, it takes most languages. So.
Oh, hey, it came that last tweet thing happened.
Yeah, that's on my list too. So unfortunately, if you're minting multiple ones in a row right now, the tweet feature accidentally brings up just the first one that you made.
Yeah.
So I'll fix that. That's a simple fix. I added the tweet feature way too late and didn't have enough time to fully debug it. So that's on me.
Where's your name title from? I think it's just her last name there, bro.
Yeah, that's just my last name.
Came from her parents. Red needs to buy a 500 coin pack. Honestly, I'm already thinking about, I bought what I thought was too many, and I'm starting to already think that maybe I want to get more, which is fun. Anyways, I'm gonna get those NFTs all figured out, and I'll probably start just dropping them in the channel, or maybe I'll give them away on the. Actually, maybe I'll do like a Nefty Show bounty. That's what we'll do. So we're gonna increase our community size over and over again. We'll give away some of these things.
Yeah, just remember that you only have today to make your NFT bounty, because tomorrow is winner's launch, and if there's gonna be a bounty, people must be able to.
No, I mean, I'm gonna give these things away as a bounty, not the wiener NFTs.
Okay.
So the ones that,
okay,
they're just the ones that I minted here. I wanna give away some of those NFTs because you guys all helped me build them, and it's kind of fun.
But you were saying that Flip Tribes has some wiener NFTs to give away, right?
I haven't said anything about that. However, if you've minted and shared already, check your wallets in an hour. So that's what I've said about it in public ever.
My internet died, so my bad.
Oh no, you're good. That's we Tuttle and I were talking about this yesterday about how to, Flip Tribes has some wiener NFTs to give out, and we were talking about, whether to tell everybody about it or not, and then kind of why don't we just surprise everybody that's getting in early and doing all this stuff. And she finally convinced me that was a great idea. So if you've been minting and sharing, there's some community NFTs and some bounty NFTs that are going to find their way into your wallet over the next hour. So that's fun. All right, can you add a tweet to claim button for Twitter post? What does that mean? TC messaged me about that. We're going to end the show here, but whatever that is, we'll take a look at it. All right, I need some lunch and a bathroom break. Dennis, thank you for coming on. Is there anything else you want to share with us, Dennis, before we break?
No, I think it will be in the write-ups. We have so many going on in the back end.
Yeah.
Now it's time to bring it more into the light.
All right. Sounds good, man. Juan, how about you? Anything else you want to share before we?
Just for everybody waiting for the winner launch, make sure that you have all your tickets by the end of today. I think we'll be closing the blend for the tickets tomorrow at 9 a.m. CET, which is, I think, 3 PST, and it's
3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
3 a.m. and it's 7 a.m. UTC, I think. 7 a.m. UTC will be closing the ticket blend. Yeah, time zones are hell. So let's make sure that you have all your blends by then. And
it's going to be great. It's going to be so much fun.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty good. So the fair launch ticket blend, we're going to open that basically during the show tomorrow.
The fair launch, we're going to open that tomorrow at 17:30, which is your 11:30.
Yes, perfect. So mid-show,
yes,
like we did last time.
Mid-show, just like last time. And 1 hour later at 18:30, we will open the pools for trading.
And that, I think that's gonna go much, much better than it did last time. We learned a lot last time, and it was highly entertaining, which is fun. Tomorrow, long show. We're gonna be doing all the things there. And again, like for the ticket blend, like the fair launch, everybody had to do things really quickly last time. You don't have to do it fast this time, right? Like we're gonna leave it open for a while. Your ticket means that you have it to use. We can leave that open for a while to give people the chance to get in and claim theirs.
Yes, but what really matters is that your tickets should be blended tonight.
Yes.
By the latest.
Yeah. Don't wait on that. The blend is going to close at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then that's your last chance to get tickets. So that's the cutoff, because we need to know how many tickets there are so we can get the pools ready. Blah 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 blah. But those Juan F-bombs on AIGOD launch was a crack. Yeah, no, it was good. It was good.
Yeah, but now it's push one button and that's it.
Right.
No bombs tomorrow.
No, well, unless who knows?
Who knows?
I just want you to say wiener, wiener, wiener 100 times, and then I want you to do dances with wiener. But I know you won't. But I'm going to keep asking. How many wieners per ticket? We have no idea, right? We're not going to know that until we know how many tickets there are, right? So 10% of supply is going to be going into the fair launch. Take however many tickets ultimately end up getting blended by the end, and we're going to divide that up.
And besides, I'm still waiting for you to confirm how much will I have available to create the pools. I still have to receive some of the money for the pools.
Yeah, as far as the liquidity.
Yeah, for the liquidity. So only when I have that information, we'll be able to determine what's the fair launch price.
All right, yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's. But I mean, we're gonna know how many wieners per ticket before we know what the price is.
Yes, we are going to know that before, but we don't know yet because the blend is still open. We will know that tomorrow at 9 a.m. for me, 3 a.m. for you guys. Right?
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right, guys. Thank you guys
Yeah,
so much
thanks,
for coming
all.
on. And
was great.
yeah, Chris, thanks for just like on a whim building this whole freaking thing out for us to mess around with flip drives because it's just so much fucking fun.
I'm happy too, and I'm really pleased that people are enjoying it, right? Like this is the kind of pace that I really wanted the project to sort of proceed at, give people a little bit more time to relax, and yeah, I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. I mean, it's what I want to play, so.
Right? There you go. That's always the way to do it. All right, Juan, do the thing. Blammo.